Top stories. For some, all of this hoopla surrounding the good deeds of American presidents leaves a bad taste in the mouth. And many Serbians remember the NATO campaign against their people all too well. On this story, we are joined live from Belgrade by the former Foreign Affairs Minister of Yugoslavia, Zhivadin Jovanovic. Mr. Jovanovic, thank you very much for being with us. The Clinton monument is about to go up. President Obama has received the Nobel Peace Prize. So much attention has been given to American leaders who have been involved in bloody military conflicts. Is that fair?
We know about misinterpretation of NATO aggression against Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, against Serbia. American public and the public of so-called international community is misled. This 10 years ago was a blatant aggression against a sovereign European state without any justification. It was done against UN Charter, against the Paris Charter, against OEC final Helsinki document, and against the whole set of international conventions. So I think what has been done in the meantime on the part of United States structures was trying to justify what could never be justified. This was actually a crime against peace, the ultimate crime. This cost people of Yugoslavia about 4,000 dead, two-thirds of them being civilians. Over 10,000 people were wounded. And what is maybe even more important, people are still dying of the consequences of NATO aggression 10 years after because of the depleted uranium which has been used, because of the cluster bomb which are exploding even today, and because of many polluted natural environment areas. I think that we are approaching the time when Europe, first of all, but I hope the whole of the Western Hemisphere will recognize that this was a historic mistake to aggress a peaceful nation which has no given reason for that.
Well, most wartime Serbian leaders have faced prosecution at The Hague. Is there a feeling among Serbs that Clinton may, who many hold responsible for the bombings and the deaths of innocent people, should be charged?
I would like to remind the public that already in 1999, the then Yugoslav government has instituted a criminal court procedure against leaders of NATO responsible for NATO aggression against Yugoslavia. This was initiated and completed at the regional Belgrade court, and leaders of NATO nations, of NATO states, first of all, President of USA Clinton, were condemned, were taken responsible for this aggression and for the death of so many people, for the damage of over $100 billion inflicted on Serbian, on Yugoslav economy, for use of forbidden armament such as depleted uranium, cluster bomb, graphite bombs, and other means. I believe that this responsibility cannot be faded away by the time, and that these leaders of NATO countries are responsible and will remain responsible, at least in history and at least in the face of Serbian nation. I also think that Serbia is entitled to claim compensation for the war damages from NATO countries, and that Serbia should not be idle, sitting idle, even concerning use of depleted uranium, from which citizens of Serbia,
if I can just, if I may, can I just ask you very briefly, do you think any protests are about to follow, if the statue will take place in Kosovo?
We cannot say if the formal protest will take place, but we can say that this year there has been a huge international conference attended by over 1,200 people in Belgrade on occasion of the 10th anniversary of the beginning of NATO aggression. This was attended by over 250 intellectuals from all continents, and many of them from Russia.
Thank you very much for all your comments. That was former Foreign Affairs Minister of Yugoslavia, Zhivadin Jovanovic.